Hare Krishna to everyone. Thank you all for coming. Can I please request to come a little bit on this side? Thank you. It's very crowded here, so you have to find space. Thank you so much. So today we are going to discuss about the importance of devotee association. What is the power of association with devotees? Would you like to know? Yes. Or we know it all? The more we hear, the better for us. There is a saying, we are known by the company we keep. Have you heard that before? Yes. Yes? Just like you are what you eat. Right? So we are known by the company we keep. Srila Prabhupada says that associating with devotees is equal to association with the Supreme Lord Krishna. It's that very powerful, I know. I take it so lightly. When we meet devotees, we're like, hi, what's up? And then you're gone. Yeah, we don't spend time to talk to them unguilty. Talk to them, confide, discuss Krishna Katha. So devotee association is very, very powerful. In Nectar of Instruction, Rupa Goswami, he explains how to associate. First of all, we need to recognize who is a devotee and who is not. That doesn't mean we wear judgmental glasses and go around saying, this one is a devotee, that one is not. Because we don't have the authority to judge others. But he gives us knowledge. Based on that, we can see what is the level of his progress in spiritual life. So there are three. One is Kanishta Adhikari, which is a neophyte devotee who is beginning the process of Krishna consciousness. Then the next level is not Uttam, Madhyam. And the topmost is Uttam Adhikari, that's a pure devotee. So, in the Nectar of Instruction, Rupa Goswami says that when we take on this knowledge and understand and identify, then how do we deal with the devotees? It should not be random, because devotee association is so very important for spiritual upliftment. If we really want to progress spiritually, then we don't have a choice but to associate with devotees. So he says, the neophyte devotee who is just beginning the spiritual life, is progressing on the spiritual path, he is the one who has faith in the Lord. And he is initiated also. He is chanting. And he is also worshipping the deity, but he doesn't know how to behave with other devotees. So the faith is not very firm. It is just basic faith. And such a devotee is not aware of the conclusions of the Shastras, which means is not very well knowledgeable, has not studied the scriptures thoroughly. So such a devotee we should mentally respect. Very important. It's very easy for the mind to think, oh, that one is a neophyte devotee. Okay, no. We still got to respect each and every. In fact, Bhagavad Gita teaches us we should respect all living entities. All living entities. Right? Why? Because Mamaya Vamsha Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sana. Krishna says all are my parts. All living entities are parts of the Supreme Lord, and they are Sanatana, means they are eternal. So now these Kanishta Adhikaris, these neophyte devotees, Rupa Goswami says that they do not have the ability to preach, to give this knowledge to others. They do not have that ability. And their faith is not, what is that word which is, when you say faith is, you can break the faith. What is that word? Is it called pliable? I don't know. Huh?
Steadfast or stable?
Unstable, yes. Is not firmly fixed in Krishna consciousness. So what should one do? One should still associate with those devotees and help them to make their faith more firm. How? By discussing Krishna Katha, by chanting together, just like we were chanting and dancing together. How many of us were sad when the arati was going on? Raise your hands. Like depressed. Oh no. Everybody was happy to be chanting and dancing. That's the power of the holy name. Similarly, the devotee association is very, very powerful. The next level is Madhyam Adhikari, who is above the neophyte devotee. Now the Madhyam Adhikari, Rupa Goswami says, his faith is firm and is fully engaged in devotional service, is able to preach, is able to give this knowledge to others, and is able to make Vaishnavas. Isn't that beautiful? To be able to help others to become devotees of the Supreme Lord. They are very kind and compassionate, and also when they perform devotional service, they are very serious about it. For them, bhakti is not casual. They don't feel that, oh, this material world is a clubhouse to come have fun, enjoy, eat, sleep, and be merry. No. They are very serious about the goal of human form of life. What is the goal of human form of life? To make $10 million? No? Oh, I thought make a lot of money. The goal of human form of life is to become self-realized, to understand who am I. So, the Madhyam Adhikari devotee makes friends with other devotees. The heart is very soft. It's very conducive for Krishna consciousness. And such a devotee avoids the association of those who are not interested in bhakti. Why do you think so? It's a big question. Why don't they want to associate with those who are not spiritually inclined?
It's the power of association.
Exactly, the power of association. So if we say, for instance, if we associate with someone who likes to drink a lot, then what is going to happen? Even though we don't want to drink, but then their consciousness will rub off on us, and gradually we will develop a desire to drink. That is the power of association. So the Madhyam Adhikari is very careful in choosing association. They do not associate with those who are not spiritually inclined. And they preach, they teach about the Supreme Lord to innocent people. Why? Because they are very merciful. They want to help others to break the cycle of birth and death. How many of you like to sit on Ferris wheel? Have any of you sat? I'm sure you all have, right? Ferris wheel. Is it enjoyable? Yeah? How many rounds can you do in a Ferris wheel? 2, 3, 5, 5? Ooh, 5, okay. I remember one time my family put me in Ferris wheel. That was my first and last time. And I was screaming my heart out because it is so, when it comes down, it's like, it feels like your heart is coming out of your mouth, screaming, and they were standing down there laughing, oh, look at her. How many times can you go up and down the Ferris wheel? Few times. And then you're done. Like, get me out of this Ferris wheel because I am done. It is very nauseating. But we've been going through this Ferris wheel of birth and death for so many lifetimes. And Prabhupada says we are still not tired. I remember one time I was giving a class at home and I just asked, so what do you want to become in your next life? And one gentleman said, I want to become a bulldog in my next life. And I was like, are you listening to Bhagavad Gita or not? Right? So we need to come out of the cycle of birth and death, and the Madhyamadikari helps the innocent, ignorant people by giving them knowledge so that they can understand the purpose of human form of life. And they are very aware of Shastric conclusions. They have understood, they have read the scriptures like the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and they have not only understood but they have put it into practice. See, Prabhupada says when we just read, it is theory. But when we put it into practice, so theory plus practice equals to wisdom. We become wise. So just hearing, reading is not sufficient. We need to put it into practice. Then there's going to be realization, and that person can be called a very wise person. Now the next category, the topmost category is Uttama Adhikari. What does Uttama mean? Highest. Uttama. He's a pure devotee. He's an advanced devotee. And he, even though he is at that stage, he considers everybody a devotee. Isn't that beautiful? Sees all living and all human beings as Vaishnavas. And is so merciful that just by association, one gets so much benefit. There's a very nice verse, Sadhu Sangha Sarva Shastrakaya, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha Sarva Siddhi Hoya. Just by a moment's association with a pure devotee, one can achieve perfection. That doesn't mean when we come across a pure devotee, we say, Hari Bol, one moment is over, okay, let's go. That's not how we get Sarva Siddhi. We need to associate with pure devotees, learn from them. Now these Uttamadhikaris, they do not blaspheme anybody. This is the vow we need to take for ourselves if we really want to uplift ourselves spiritually, that we do not blaspheme anyone. Aren't there 10 offenses to the chanting of the holy name? Yes or no? Wrong. There are 11. There are 11 offenses that we need to avoid. And the very first one is to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives in preaching Krishna consciousness. So what happens when we blaspheme? We are hurting our spiritual lives. Right? We don't know what is the situation of the other person, and we just start passing judgment. There was a son and mother. They were traveling in a train, and the boy was probably 18 to 20 years old, so you would call him a young man. And when the train was moving, he was super excited. He said, "Look, Mom, the trees. Look, Mom, the water. Look that. Look that. Oh my God, it's so beautiful." So the person sitting across was wondering, 20-year-old, he's not a 5-year-old getting so super excited about trees and lakes and people and everything. So that person started thinking wrong about, in other words, blaspheming. Haven't you taught your son? He's 20 years old. And the mother very softly, in a humble way, said, "My son was blind up until today. Today is when he has got his sight, and this is the first time he is seeing nature, and that is why he's super excited." Would we ever have thought about that? We don't know, so it is actually not even, we don't have an authority to judge others or to pass comments or to blaspheme, especially the devotees. Because that, Rupa Goswami says, even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, that can destroy the creeper of bhakti completely, like a mad elephant. So, the Uttam Adhikari does not blaspheme anyone. Why? Because his heart is clean. Now, a big question is, if we close our eyes and think about it for a moment, is our heart clean? What will be the answer? We all know it, right? It's not rocket science. So when we know that our heart is not clean, then what do we need to do? Hear about the Supreme Lord. Chant. What do we chant? Om Namo Bhagavate. No? Just making sure that we are all on the right track. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That is what is going to cleanse our heart of all unwanted things. So the Uttam Adhikari is, of course, performs unalloyed devotional service, but is always meditating on how to spread Krishna consciousness to others. Is always thinking of ways how to bring people to Krishna. And is very easily able to convert ignorant into wise people. So the association of Uttam Adhikari is most desirable. So what do we do when we come across an Uttam Adhikari? We offer respects, we offer obeisances, and we inquire. Isn't that what Krishna told Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita? Which chapter? Which chapter? 4. Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. He asked him, Prashna, you inquire, you ask questions. So when we ask questions, Prabhupada says that is a sign of intelligence. So when we inquire, we get the answer from an Uttam Adhikari, and then we can progress spiritually. So devotee association is very powerful, and we should not undermine the benefits of such association. By associating with devotees, it is a source of inspiration for us. Right? Watching them, how they chant, how they speak, they are walking their talk. Isn't that something like that called walk your talk? That means they are practicing what they are preaching. And then from them we also learn how to be enthusiastic. One time Prabhupada was asked, enthusiastic, what should I do? What do you think Prabhupada said? Fake it till you make it? No. Who said that? Prabhupada said, pretend to be enthusiastic. Then gradually you become. And associate with enthusiastic devotees. When we see their enthusiasm, say, Haribol, then we also feel like doing Haribol, yes? When we see others saying Haribol, we don't say Haribol. We are also enthusiastic because it rubs off on us. And associating with devotees gives us a sense of belonging. How many of us feel at home in the temple? Raise your hands. This is our home. We belong here. Right? We can say, this is my Radha Madan Mohan. So devotee association gives us a sense of belonging. We are able to get guidance from them. They train us how to progress spiritually. They help us when we are struggling. Anybody here struggling? Not making money. I'm not asking making money. Struggling to make money. No. Is anybody struggling spiritually? We all are, right? So devotee association helps us in our struggle. They encourage us how we can progress. And we learn from them. Matra sparshas tu kanteya shitosham sukha dukha daha. They teach us how to become a titiksha, how to be tolerant. This we learn from devotee association. We cannot learn from books. From books, theory part. Yes, we should be tolerant. That's what Krishna tells Arjuna. Become a titikshasva. But how is we learn from association. So our spiritual growth depends on associating with devotees. They help us to remove negativity from our lives and make it positive. Does anyone like to be negative? Do we like to be in close association of negative people? No. It doesn't matter, not just in spiritual life, even in material life, whether we are in a job or business or whatever, we don't want to deal with negativity, but devotee association helps us to remove that. They help us to get closer to Krishna, to develop a deep connection with the Supreme Lord. Rupa Goswami has given us so many different points, so much guidance in Nectar of Instruction, besides of course in Nectar of Devotion also, how to associate with devotees. And the best part is, especially Uttamadhikari, they have no personal agenda. How many of us make friends with benefits? Think about it, right? What's in it for me? If I'm your friend, what do I get from you? But that is not what is relevant in spiritual life. So these devotees have no personal agenda, and Prabhupada says it is very, very dangerous to give up devotee association. Very dangerous. Why? Because we can fall into Maya. So Srila Prabhupada says, in fact, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he told Sanatana Goswami in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, I'll read it, he says, the spiritually powerful message of Godhead can be properly discussed only in the society of devotees. And it is greatly pleasing to hear in that association. If one hears from devotees, the way of transcendental experience quickly opens, and gradually one attains firm faith that in due course develops into attraction and devotion. So Srila Prabhupada is guiding us to seek devotee association. So when we come to the temple, besides having darshan, besides taking part in the arati, besides hearing the class with open eyes and not falling asleep, and then associating with devotees, talking to them. If you don't know them, approach them, ask them, what is your name? My name is so and so. Where are you from? And this is how we start a conversation and we start becoming friends with devotees. How many of us have seen each other for years? Do we know each other's names? All of them? I'm guilty too. So Srila Prabhupada says devotee association is very important. There's a very nice Vaishnava song, Shuddha Bhakata Charana Renu Bhajana Anukula Bhakata Seva Parama Siddhi Prema Latikara Mula. What does that mean? Shuddha Bhakata, a pure devotee. Charana Renu, take the dust from his lotus hands. Good, feet. Just making sure. Take the dust off his lotus feet. Right? Bhajana Anukula. Then we perform devotional service. Bhakata Seva. We serve the devotee. How can we serve the devotee? There are so many ways. We can serve with our speech, with our body, with our mind. Service. Service attitude helps us to become humble. In the Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada gives the definition of humility. Does anyone know? I talk about this all the time because it's so beautiful. Don't I talk about it every time? Yes, sorry. But it's so beautiful. What does Prabhupada say? Humility means one is not anxious to get the satisfaction of being honored by others. Very powerful. We're not anxious that the moment I enter into the temple room, who is watching me, who is respecting me, who is offering obeisances unto me, who is it who's saying Hare Krishna to me with a smile. That anxiety is not there. That's humility. Not expecting others to offer respects to us, but in return, we offer respect to others. So, Bhakata Seva, what does that mean? That means, Prabhupada says, not only worshipping the pure devotee with awe and reverence, respecting, but making sure we value the association of that devotee. So when we perform devotional service, which starts with hearing and chanting, in the association of devotees, that's when we progress. And then the creeper of devotion starts growing more and more. But then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says we need to protect that creeper of devotion. How? With the association of devotees. When we have a beautiful plant growing, what do? We put a fence around it so that the animals don't come and destroy it. So that devotee association is that fencing that helps us to not fall in Maya. So that we don't fall off the wagon. Something like that they say, right? Fall off the wagon. I don't know what that means. That means fall down, I guess. Right? Is that what it means? Okay. So, association of devotees helps us to even control our senses. See, when I'm driving a car and a cop is sitting next to me, will I break the traffic rules? I dare not. Because if I do, then I'm going to get a ticket. Right? That means points. That means insurance goes up, the premium goes up, etc., etc., etc. So the devotees are like our cops. So if they are next to us, we are not going to break any spiritual rules. Does that make sense? And they are the ones who will catch us and say, hey, you're chanting, but you're falling asleep. You're following the four regulated principles, but not very strictly. So devotee association is very, very important. And let me talk to you about the power of a pure devotee. Have you all heard about Narad Muni? Yes? The one who reaches the wrong place at the wrong time, right? No, that's wrong. He reaches the right place at the right time to do the right thing. Now, Narad Muni was able to change the heart of a dacoit. What was his name? Ratnakar. Right? He was able to purify the heart of the dacoit who later on became Valmiki and was able to write the Ramayana. That is the power of a pure devotee like Narad Muni. So it's important to be friends with devotees. There are two kinds. One is called the Mitra. Mitra means ordinary devotee. And Suhrid. Suhrid means best friend. Who remembers that verse from Bhagavad Gita where Krishna talks about Suhridam? Bhoktaram yagna tapasam sarvalokam maheshwara Suhridam sarvabhutanam gnatmamam shanti vichati. So if we want shanti, we want peace of mind, then we need to take shelter of our well-wisher, our best friend, Suhrit. Suhrit means our best friend. So we should try and make friends with devotees as as if they are our best friends. Because what is the goal? We have the same goal. And what is that? To go to Hawaii. No? To go back to Godhead, to go back to the spiritual world. So, if we can somehow or the other, best part is the families that are all Krishna conscious, like husband, wife, children, everybody, what a wonderful association, right? We help each other in the family, together we read, together we chant, together we do deity worship, etc. That is perfect family. This is something that happened many, many years ago, and it's true. There was this father and mother, and they had a son. And the son was about to graduate. In fact, I went for a graduation ceremony today. And how many of you have attended graduation of somebody? Practically all of us. Yes? Yes or no? Right? It's a huge deal. In my days, no one even knew who passed out and who did not, right? It's just an ordinary thing. Mom, I passed. Now I'm in college. That's it. But here, it's a huge deal. What happens at graduation? Before graduation, there is expectation. Expectation from the child who is graduating. What is the expectation? A gift. Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes, a gift. So here, the father asked the boy, have you graduated? You have?
Yeah.
I'm asking you.
A few times.
A few times?
High school and college, yeah.
Oh, high school, college also?
Yeah.
It's a big deal, right? The whole ceremony.
It's a long ceremony.
Oh, tell me about it. 3 hours. It's a 3-hour ceremony. Where you throw, what is that called, a cap?
Yeah.
Up in the air and all that. So here, the bed was car. So the father said, okay, let's go to the dealership. They went to the dealership and he chose his red Ford Mustang. This is true. So now the day of graduation. The son was very excited. As soon as I go home, I'm going to sit in my car and I'm going to go for a ride with my friends. So quickly, graduation ceremony is finished. He comes home and he looks in the driveway. No car. Maybe father parked it in the garage. Open the garage. No car. Now he was really upset. So he stomps inside the house and he tells the father, where's my gift? And father gives him a small gift wrap box. And he is now more angry. Do you think you are going to give me a toy car? I didn't go to the dealership to get a toy car. Now he was really mad. He took that gift and he flung it across the room. Boom, it was gone. And he said, I hate you and I'm never coming back to this house. And he was out of the house. He had just graduated. And he did not come back. And the father, he was devoted to the Lord. He was tolerant. He tolerated and he was quiet. Now, after a few years, this boy, he gets a call from mother that your father passed away. Can you please come for the funeral? So now this boy had grown, right? A few years, so he had become more mature. And his anger also had subsided quite a bit. Now he was earning and he had his own car. So he said, okay, let me just go to the father's funeral. So when he went to father's funeral, afterwards, as he was leaving, the mother said, actually your father really wanted you to have this gift that you had thrown years ago. So he said, what is it so important that my father wants me to have this? So let me have a look. So when he opened the gift wrap, what do you think inside? There was Bhagavad Gita. The father had presented the son with the Bhagavad Gita. So he thought, well, this must be something very precious. If he insisted on me having it, let me see what's in it. So as he was going through the pages, he found a check. That was the cost of the car. So the father had given him the gift in the form of a check so that he could go to the dealership and get his car. But out of anger, he had thrown the gift away. So what did the father do? He was compassionate. He wanted to give him the material gift, but he also wanted to give him spiritual gift. The Bhagavad Gita, so that he could improve his life and understand the goal of human form of life. This is the association of devotees. Father was a devotee, so his association was beneficial for him, but he did not take that opportunity. But later on, he started studying the Bhagavad Gita and he became a devotee. So devotee association is very, very important. I was listening to this lecture where there is a devotee named Balaram Govinda Das. Anyone knows about him? He is the owner of a jewelry store called Tangamail. He has 100 stores, 100 branches, jewelry store, and 3,000 employees. And guess what? Every morning, he has a Zoom call with all his employees, and they all chant one round of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And then he gives a 15-minute Bhagavatam class to his employees. Then they can go to work. And he has opened a temple. And 100 of his employees come for the morning program to that temple. A group of 100. And they all attend the morning program, they chant one round, they hear Bhagavatam and go to work. Then next day, the other set of 100 will come to do the same. And he has a leader in each store. That means he has 100 leaders and they all chant 16 rounds. And they are the ones who help the other employees with their association. Isn't that a perfect place to work in? Right? Where you are getting material benefit, but at the same time you're getting spiritual benefit also. So we should not take devotee association very lightly because it's very, very powerful. So I'm going to end here. If anyone has any questions or comments, you're welcome to ask. No? Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.